Back in the day, I used to be jealous of people who can command attention at any social gathering. They have this magnetic presence about them that just captivates whoever they interact with. In fact, I used to assume that charisma was a trait that you were either born with or not. Later on, I found out that it was a skill that can be developed if you're willing to put in the work. That's why in this video, we're going to talk about how to be charming as an introvert. I'm about to share with you the exact same advice that I teach to our clients in our social skills coaching program. My name is Mike Macapinlock. I help STEM professionals improve their social confidence. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every single week. Learning how to be charming as an introvert will help you get along well with others. As a result, more opportunities will be available to you because people like you. That being said, here are 12 actionable tips that you can implement right away. All right, let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to embrace who you are. Most individuals who struggle socially are so concerned about what people think of them. That's why they stifle their personality and try way too hard to fit in. If you want to know how to be charming as an introvert, you have to embrace who you are. Accept what you can change and put all your focus and energy only on things that you can do something about. By doing so, you'll feel a lot more comfortable in your own skin. As a result, you'll figure out how to feel less self-conscious in any social situation. Tip number 2 is to pay attention to your presentation. You never get a second chance to make a great first impression. That's why you have to take your appearance seriously. Whether you like it or not, your looks really do matter. Why? Because we make snap judgments about people right away based on what we see. To prove my point, picture the scenario. Imagine how you treat someone who's smiling and well-dressed compared to someone who's sad and frumpy. Very differently, right? If you're wondering how to be charming as an introvert, you have to present yourself well. Have a more open body language by standing up straight, making eye contact, and keeping your arms to your side. Make sure you dress appropriately for whatever occasion you're in and groom yourself properly as well. When you look like someone worth getting to know, people will take what you have to say more seriously. Tip number 3 is to keep your cool. If you want to know how to be charming as an introvert, you have to be able to manage your emotions. Regardless of what's happening, it's important that you stay cool, calm, and collected. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to adopt a mindfulness practice. Meditating and journaling regularly will allow you to control the way you think. You'll be able to reframe your limiting beliefs and choose more empowering thoughts instead. This will help you become less reactive, especially during stressful moments. When you're able to maintain a calm demeanor consistently, people will feel more comfortable in your presence. Tip number 4 is to be in the moment. Don't you hate it when you're talking to someone who you know isn't fully listening to you? If you want to figure out how to be charming as an introvert, you need to get out of your head and be in the moment. In order for others to be interested in you, you have to be interested in them first. That's why you have to be present during your interactions. Give whoever you're with your full and undivided attention. Actively listen by leaning forward and nodding in agreement to acknowledge what they're saying. Keep an open mind and really try to see things from their point of view. When you do, you'll improve your connection with everyone you talk to. As a result, people will feel seen, heard, and understood by you. Tip number 5 is to see the best in others. Imagine how good it feels when someone says something nice to you. It's pretty awesome, right? If you want to learn how to be charming as an introvert, be generous with your compliments. Make an effort to see the best in others. But if you want your compliments to stand out, praise people's efforts instead of their physical appearance. They'll appreciate it more because you're giving them props on something that they had to work hard for. Also, avoid gossiping and speaking ill of others. Otherwise, you'll come across as someone not trustworthy. Think about it. If you're saying all those bad things about others, people will assume you'll do the same to them behind their backs. Again, if you have something good to say, then make sure you say it. If not, then be quiet and just keep things to yourself. Tip number 6 is to develop your wit. I don't know about you, but I can't stand being around someone who's so serious all the time. If you want to figure out how to be charming as an introvert, you need to improve your sense of humor. By doing so, you'll be able to lighten up the mood in any situation. When you know how to make people laugh, you become a source of positive emotions. People will enjoy your company because they'll feel good when they're around you. Keep in mind that the element of surprise is a big component of learning how to be funny. If you want to develop your wit, try to find correlations between subjects that are seemingly unrelated. Typically, people find it amusing when you say something that's unexpected. To help you get started, get some writing material and observe the things around you. And then ask yourself what else it reminds you of. Set a timer and jot down as many ideas as you can. Be playful, use your imagination, and get creative. The more you do this, the more you train yourself to think quickly on your feet. This will help you come up with clever comebacks much faster and be able to banter better during your interactions. Tip number 7 is to ask interesting questions. First of all, there's nothing wrong with making small talk. In fact, it's an important skill that you need to develop if you want to build rapport with others. At the end of the day, you have to be able to exchange polite pleasantries, especially with people that you just met. But if you're wondering how to be charming as an introvert, you can't get stuck talking about the weather or what traffic was like earlier that day. In order to connect with others, you have to get out of small talk and have deeper conversations. The best way to do this is to ask more interesting questions. For example, instead of asking someone how they're doing, you can ask them what's been the most interesting part of their day. Instead of asking them what they do for work, ask them if they have a passion project that they're working on. Instead of asking what they do for fun, ask them what's a skill that they've always wanted to develop. These questions really get people thinking and will prompt them to open up more. That way, you'll be able to get to know each other on a personal level, which leads to a more meaningful interaction. Tip number 8 is to tell good stories. As a social skills coach, I've worked with a lot of engineers, programmers, and developers in the past. I noticed that most of them struggle socially because they just don't know any better. Due to the nature of their jobs, they sit in front of the computer all day. They're paid based on their technical expertise, and they're not really required to be social. That's why they lack the knowledge and experience when it comes to interacting with people. If you want to know how to be charming as an introvert, you have to be able to communicate yourself effectively. That's why you have to figure out how to tell good stories. The next time you share something, make sure you structure it well by having a beginning, middle, and end. Leave out unnecessary facts and emphasize how things make you feel instead. Use your hands to accentuate your point and vary your tonality as well. When you do those things, you'll come across as a captivating storyteller. This will lead to more interesting conversations and will help you form deeper connections with others. Tip number 9 is to stop trying to be perfect. We all relate to people's struggles better. If you want to know how to be charming as an introvert, don't be afraid to show some vulnerability. Embrace your imperfections and let others see who you really are. Remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. So stop trying to be perfect all the time. That being said, you have to find a balance between being vulnerable and sharing too much information. This is not the time to air out your dirty laundry and dump your emotional baggage on others. My advice is to open up incrementally by sharing a small secret about yourself. Gauge the other person's feedback and see if they reciprocate. By being vulnerable first, you encourage the person you're interacting with to open up as well. If you want to know how to bond and build closer friendships, this is one of the best ways to do it. Tip number 10 is to avoid bragging about yourself. Don't you hate people who only talk about themselves? Personally, I avoid interacting with those individuals at all costs. If you want to learn how to be charming as an introvert, always remain humble. Working hard to reach your goals is definitely something you should be proud of. But whatever you do, avoid bragging about yourself to others. If you do, you'll come across as someone insecure. If you want to deepen your connection when you're talking to someone, make sure there's an equal amount of sharing and relating. Instead of always putting the spotlight on yourself, let others shine as well. Encourage them to share more and to talk about themselves. By doing so, you'll make anybody you talk to feel special. They'll leave the conversation feeling acknowledged and they'll look forward to seeing you again. Tip number 11 is to communicate in a compelling way. The truth is, we're all inherently selfish. That's why in order to influence others, you have to consider where they're coming from. If you're wondering how to be charming as an introvert, you need to develop empathy. When you're able to put yourself in other people's situations, it'll help you communicate in a more compelling way. It doesn't matter whether it's making plans with friends, organizing a project at work, or facilitating any type of discussion. You'll get others to follow your lead if they know you have their best intention in mind. That being said, make an effort to see things from people's point of view. That way, you can explore more options together and find a win-win situation for everyone involved. At the end of the day, the best way to get what you want is to make sure others get what they want as well. Tip number 12 is to share your passions with others. Remember, a boring life leads to boring conversations. You can't just go to work, go home, and do nothing else. If that's your regular routine, then something needs to change. You owe it to yourself to find what you're passionate about. When you do, your life becomes more meaningful and exciting. Not to mention, you'll also have more things to discuss with others. If you're not sure where to start, just ask yourself what you would do if money wasn't an issue. You can also think of different things that you've always wanted to try out. Get a sheet of paper, start brainstorming, and make a list. Once you're done, do something small right away that will move you towards a more interesting life. I know for me, if I'm talking to someone who's into what they do, it makes me want to check it out as well. Your excitement about whatever you're interested in is captivating, and that will carry over during your interactions. Again, if you want to know how to be charming as an introvert, you need to do more things that you enjoy. By doing so, you'll become more fun and interesting to be around. If you're shy and technically skilled and you want to know how to approach and talk to anybody, remember to download your free social confidence cheat sheet. The link is in the description below. If you're tired of struggling socially and you want to learn more about a social skills coaching program, book your free consultation today and let's connect. The link is in the description below as well. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who you know who could benefit from it. And now, let's turn it to you. Which one of these steps are you going to implement first? Are you going to work on keeping your cool or on seeing the best in others? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Alright, that's it for me for now, and I'll see you in the next video.